Hi everyone, welcome to show Final V3.
Yes.
That is Julian / Noodle,
Yes.
who makes YouTube videos, and I'm Sam, also known as Sam, who makes video games and such. Yeah, in this episode, we started talking a whole lot about the project that Julian is currently working on, editing this behemoth of a thing about the time that he went to a gaming convention, told everyone he was going to screen E3, and then that was a lie, and it was a fucked up experience. And I, on my part, talked about what I've been up to lately, which is a lot of the constraints of pitching while being on a podcast like this. Enjoy the show. Julian, you got anything to say for yourself?
I'll get this show.
Hi, it's wonderful to see you.
Yes.
Welcome Final V3.
Yes.
How's it going over there? What are you up
Fuck
to? We're
you.
going straight. Fuck
Hey
you.
guys, we're trying something new soon. I don't know if it's gonna really have happened by the time that this comes out, but at some point in the near future, expect us to be posting shorts, clips of the podcast.
Yeah.
We're trying this because this is how you reach more people and gain subscriber or something. Or basically, I mean, honestly, what's happening is we're just floundering around, trying different stuff and seeing what sticks. Other podcasts do this. Other shows will do this. Some of them have success. We figured we might as well try. And with the fantastic support of y'all, anyone listening, but especially patrons, thank you so much.
Yes.
We're not out of the red. we're like orange right now, but that's because we're reinvesting a lot of that into a friend of ours who's editing those clips together so that we can see whether or not they will effectively reach more people, which will hopefully in the long term get us out of the red and into the green.
We really appreciate the support of everyone who's been listening and smiling.
We really do. Yeah. So all that to say, expect to see that at some point soon. Your support is the reason that we are able to try to do that. We're hoping it'll be a positive feedback loop. It might fail. This is often the case. But anyway, with that out of the way, yeah, what were you saying? Sorry, I didn't care.
How are you doing? What are you up to?
I'm gaming and thriving and smiling. If I
pretty
sound
awesome.
tired, it's because I am, and I'm really trying to power through it right now and sound like I'm not. I'm on my
Right.
second coffee. I don't do coffee. I do one and I'm good. I have ADHD and I have anxiety and I'm sensitive to coffee. So
Oh,
it's
hell yeah.
things are fucked up if I'm like double dipping on that shit. But that's where I'm at.
Right. You're
So
very much describing yourself as like a tiger being backed into the corner of your little cage.
I don't know what you mean. Anyway, I'm doing awesome.
Oh, they drink a lot of coffee when you do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you know that adrenochrome is like harvested from like the adrenal glands from a live human being? Because otherwise they're no good. You don't get a good high off of it. Did you know that? Do you know that's a lie also? That's a complete fabrication.
Really?
Yeah, it's propagated by a movie based on a book of a journalist. It's pretty badass.
So this is what you've been on the QAnon forums? Is that what you're telling me?
It's a fucking book from the I think 70s. Maybe late 60s.
Y'all, I'm on my second coffee. This is why we don't fucking let you have coffee. It's because 2 coffees in, you go to greatawakening.win and you start posting all this crazy shit about the Wayfair.
Jesus Christ, Fear and Loathing in LA, brother.
Log off of greatawakening.win.
No, I got it from watching the fucking movie and then reading the book. Jesus Christ, you think I'm a fucking Philistine? I've revisited the Magfest video, which I don't know if you're a true fan, you'll remember that I've talked about that project in the past where I went to Magfest and then told everyone that I was going to show them something and then didn't and showed them something else and I showed them a lie. And it was really fun and awesome.
It was fun and awesome.
What was I talking about?
You went to Magfest, you showed a bunch of people something that was a big lie.
Yeah.
And it was very fun and awesome.
So what's been up with you? I know. When I came back from that, I was in a very weird place because the fun of doing the thing, the stunt, the heist was over. And so all that was left was just I gotta go to the computer. I gotta organize the footage. It's complete drudgery. But what I wasn't really expecting to happen was that at the end of the panel, I asked everyone to send me footage so that I would have more coverage of the event for making a video on it if I chose to do that. But when I watched everyone's footage, it was really strange. It was like all these different perspectives of the thing. It almost felt like experiencing it for the first time again from a different point of view, because it was, right?
Right.
It was so weird. I felt how do I put this?
Joy.
I was vicariously experiencing what I assume everyone who went there and wasn't in on the joke must have felt. And it kind of changed the way that I wanted to make the video a little bit, because I got really interested in that perspective. Whereas like usually whenever I make something to fuck with people, it's hard to get out of my own headspace, because I'm very actively freaking out about whether or not people are going to catch on before I want them to.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was very strange. So when I started compiling all of the footage from the various sources that I had, as well as everything that people submitted, in order to create a sort of mega cut, like the idea was to edit it together, kind of like how editors might assemble a live performance, like a band concert that you'd buy on a DVD or whatever.
Yeah.
The idea was to kind of put it together like that, so that people at home who didn't get to go could still watch what happened and feel like they have a good idea of what the event was like. And maybe for people who did go, they would be able to, relive that a little bit. But I don't know if I've ever seen anyone make one of those wherever your POV is frequently an audience member rather than like, a floating camera hanging over a concert or whatever else,
Yeah.
Really fucking strange.
I wasn't here for any of this. I don't
Wait,
have
you
anything.
Weren't?
No, I didn't go to fucking Magfest.
No, I thought you like the actual editing part of it. Like the figuring all of that out. Were you not involved when I was figuring all this shit out and like sourcing all the footage?
No, you showed me after you had the concert edit together. Like I saw a little bit. Yeah, like I saw a little bit early when you were like, "Oh, look at some clips while you were assembling."
Wow.
That's the extent to which I was involved in that.
Yeah, I'm not used to not involving you in things very much, I guess. So yeah, when did I involve you in this? It was like, was it like properly? Was that around the time that I had finished assembling all of the footage, or what?
Yeah, it was when you finished assembling. We watched through the whole thing, and I got very excited because of especially the pre-show beats.
Yes.
When it was in very loose form, and I just kept getting really excited because of how much you just were able to show and not have to explain to me, like how much of that story just takes place in the footage.
I have never fallen into a narrative arc so easily as with this video. I just cut up all of the bits from the footage that we had into a chronological order and I just cut out anything that didn't seem interesting. I just laid out all those clips on the timeline back to back, press play, and it already felt compelling. There was already momentum.
Yeah.
And all I did was trim the fat. It was crazy.
Yeah. No, like this is the fucking fun thing about docufiction and documentary editing, is that it feels like finding a story rather than having to make it up. It's like, oh, I'm discovering this thing that's here, and my job is not to invent it; it's to like bring it out.
Yeah. That's not at all how it felt with Bass Reeves. That felt like archaeology. So yeah, for things to just be simple is comparatively simple. It was so nice. It was so nice. And then like when certain people, because a lot of the footage that I got was staggered. Like I didn't get all of it at once, right? Different people would send in different things at different times, of course. A few different POVs that I was able to get ended up being load bearing by complete happenstance.
Yeah.
There's just some incredible shit that people were able to catch. There's specifically these two guys who attended. I have no idea what their names are or anything.
How'd you get the footage without knowing?
Well, because they emailed it to me, and I think their email was just like a screen name or like a handle or something, or I'm a bad person.
Right.
These are all equally possible. But they've got this shitty tape VCR that only had 30 minutes on it. And so the footage is just like a highlight reel of not even a highlight reel. It's just what the camera guy felt would be good to be rolling for leading up to and during the panel. And
it felt like watching those videos of people camping out.
Yeah,
like before Midnight Halo release or whatever, like the energy of those videos where you have like a bunch of friends filming each other. That's what was captured here. It's so sick.
For
and
E3 2010 live viewing roleplay is the best thing I could have possibly asked for. There's multiple like terrible angles of people with shitty camcorders just recording the projector screen. It's so perfect. But yeah, there's a clip in there where because a big part of the story is that we were late to set things up and it was a big stressor. So to be able to comedically smash cut from us scrambling to get things together to them looking at their watch that says 12:05, panning to their friend who then says, "Hey guys, welcome to Sunday," is like, what?
It's so good. It's fucking
I couldn't script something that good.
Yeah, well, also because if you scripted it, it would feel bullshit. But because it actually happened, you get all the credibility for it. It's so good.
God, it was so. I mean, moments like that.
It also helps that those guys are genuinely funny, like actually just very funny people.
Fucking fantastic footage, and like the stuff like that kept coming up as I was assembling this. I kept finding funny ways of juxtaposing this angle with that, showing this event happening at this time, portraying stress in this particular way. Everything just kind of fell into place in a way that was so goddamn refreshing.
Yeah.
And then I started actually editing it and it was a fucking nightmare, but you know, I remember showing you what the timeline looked like and you described it looking kind of like an octopus.
Yeah, it was like an octopus, but you tied all of its tentacles together and then you painted them green because they're audio clips. It made sense in my head at the time when I said that.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck you meant.
And that's all you need to know. But that's what it looked like.
Yeah, it was very, because, you know, when people edit a concert or whatever, they have professional audio and video equipment. And I had a few handheld camcorders in various parts of two meeting rooms, essentially, with a wall taken out, because that's how Magfest is organized.
This is just really the best acoustics, the best treatment. You know you're getting...
Yeah. Really just fantastic stuff. So, I mean, what I ended up having to do was basically flip-flop between various methods of repairing audio by combining multiple sources. And it got like really, really in the weeds, even by my standards of going way too far on stupid shit I don't entirely understand. I was picking apart.
Yeah.
Oh, this track is mono, and the mids are pretty good, but the bass is completely polluted. This one is in stereo, so I can isolate the stereo width and combine it with the mono output and use its treble to cover up for the crap other part of it. And
just in the middle of this, I want you guys all to know that my reaction upon being shown the footage for the first time was, man, I'm so glad that the audio for this was just good so Julian doesn't have to fuck with it that much. I had no idea that all of this was happening behind the scenes, and I feel so bad.
Oh, and it's not just that it was happening, it's that it was the methodology was changing throughout.
Yeah.
Because the source that might have been good at like minute 5 would be terrible by minute 10 because someone was sitting next to a speaker or talking to their friend, and I don't want to hear that.
Right, you're like juggling knives here, basically.
Yeah, there's like the other thing too is that like everyone's footage is continuous, right? Like a lot of the POV that I have is just of people who whipped their phone out for particular moments. But sometimes, Sam, that's the cleanest audio you get by far. So you've got like 20 seconds of like, oh, bro, I got to use this. And I've got to transition in and out of abysmal dog shit and not have you notice that I did that. Or just, you know, sacrifice, just not use it because the transition would be too obvious. This is over an hour long. It's over an hour long, and I've been in the mines.
You've been in the mines,
but it's mostly done now. So it's just I'm back to the comfort zone level of monotonous bullshit now, where I'm just making a video. I feel normal again, mostly. That's good.
That is good. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, it's been really, really fun watching the narrative part of this get refined, because obviously that's the part where my brain fucking lives. I absolutely love, I mean, people are going to see it in the video whenever it comes out, but like all of the bouncing back and forth between, like my favorite thing was the Kermit plushie where like you set it up so you can hear the chanting of people going Kermit in the background while you're panicking, and someone goes, why the fuck are people chanting Kermit? And then you cut back
and it
and
wasn't
someone
even, it was like, are they chanting Kermit? I can't tell.
Right.
Smash cut to Kermit being like shown above the heads of a full crowd like a sacred item. Like 300 people in a line chanting his name.
Right. Like they're about to sacrifice him.
Magfest is something else, man.
It really is like you were able to take a camera into just an enigma of a location, and maybe it'll be something you take for granted that what you got out of that was just gold. But
no, I mean I say this in the video too, but from the moment this project started, I knew it had to be Magfest because that's the only place where you can guarantee an audience will behave like this after a certain point in the night.
Yeah.
It's magical.
Yeah. Cause like the thing that you asked me for help for, and I really had like a much lighter influence on this than the other stuff that you've done this narrative in the past, was like getting into the Magfest part. Like how do you set up everything that is like normal or video style in a way that like builds up to all of the shit that you just had from footage.
Right. Like we had to transition from being a YouTube video into being a documentary, basically.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Very weird, especially because, you know, it's live action and I don't usually do that. And
I love the choice to just hard stop the video and show yourself holding the puppet and in your fucking Geoff Keighley cosplay.
Oh, the Keighley fit.
The Keighley fit.
You know about his shoes, right? His shoe thing that he does.
I didn't fucking know that he has a shoe thing that he does until he told me.
The Keighley.
Please detail this.
It's just a funny thing.
Geoff Keighley has a shoe thing, by the way. Do you guys know this?
It's so fun. It's so funny because it's like every time he hosts anything. You know how he dresses. He's like he's got the clean, inoffensive, the neutral suit fit. You know, he don't even got a tie on. He's just like very bog standard presenter stuff.
Yeah, I think of his like Geoff Keighley metahuman Fortnite visage like looming over the horizon. With that fit.
What the cameras usually neglect to show is that he's got the goofiest fucking sneakers on every single time he goes live. Every single time. He'll have a $1,000 suit and fucking like $200 dress pants, and the camera pans down just a little bit. One time during a 2-hour-long fucking presentation, you see it one time, and he's got bedazzled Converse or something, or like bright white and green Nikes or whatever. It does not work. It doesn't match at all. It's so goofy. It doesn't make sense.
I'm looking up. I'm actually gonna first time look up right now Geoff Keighley shoes. What the fuck is he doing? He's got he has a post on his Twitter account that's just we ready #the Game Awards, and it's just a picture that he took on his phone of his feet, and it is bedazzled silver Converse.
What did I tell you, bro?
And then you have like 3 fucking like trail cam images that people took while he was either rehearsing or on stage or whatever, like from backstage. Like just the phone leaned out the sides, the lens is smudged, everything that's white in the frame is glowing like it's hot, and it's just him standing, gray suit, gray pants, bright fucking blue shoes.
He keeps doing this.
Like he's about to go to school. He looks like he should be wearing a JanSport
He's
backpack.
Gonna walk out with he's
gonna
on
walk
stage. Out with the fucking the vibration activated LED light up Skechers one of these days. I swear to God,
dude, the fucking Kick'ems, whatever they're called, that glow when you step.
Yeah, he's gonna roll out on Heelys before too long. I know it,
dude. I mean,
you know they make adult Heelys now.
Sorry, I just got flashbanged by the PlayStation Nike Air Force One. Adult Heelys. I'm buying that shit, and I'm getting tackled in an airport for it. Anyway,
I put together a Keighley fit, which consisted entirely of Goodwill items, and like most of it went shockingly well. No. Exclusively Goodwill clothing items and a vintage SpongeBob tie that was produced whenever Hillenberg was running the show.
Of course.
But yeah, no, it was all it was a surprisingly well well-fitting suit, some pants, who gives a fuck, shirt, and then I got some $2 worn business shoes, some spray glue, just dumped them on the shoes, and then poured some what's the fucking word? Yeah, that's the one.
Talk about glitter?
Yeah. Jesus Christ, I'm tired. I just dumped a bunch of glitter on some very old shoes. It was more of a logistical problem. I should have seen this coming, but I didn't. But I was kind of like, from the moment I put them on, I was kind of leaving a trail of glitter everywhere I went. I had to I had to quarantine the shoes.
Oh, cool.
And that still didn't work. Like by the time I got home, there was glitter inside my pants, inside all of the shit that I brought along, inside the lenses of my cameras, fucking somehow. Like,
oh
yeah,
cool.
I don't know.
You know, the one place you really want like small, abrasive, very
impossible to remove. Yeah.
That's fucking awesome, dude. Yeah, I really dig that you didn't, there was no coating. You didn't, just unlaminated fucking glitter, just you're shedding it like a dog. You're just shedding glitter all over the place.
I didn't realize there was a correct way to put a bunch of glitter on some shoes.
Listen, I just appreciate it. I just appreciate that, like, if anyone wanted to find you, that they could just shine a flashlight in any direction and would just see a line tracing your exact footstep. If you committed any crime that day,
the most fucked up thing is that it was too close to the Keighley fit in a meta way, because true to how you did not know that Keighley did the shoe thing up until like very recently. Basically, no one at Magfest saw the shoes because, you know, you could barely see my head.
Right.
There's not a very good angle on me at a panel room, a convention panel room. So you could argue that it was all for nothing. I wouldn't make that argument because it was very funny to me.
Right.
And now I have glitter in my camera lenses. But I do kind of wish more people were able to see that particular part of it.
Right. Yeah, I appreciate that. The idea that you're just walking around wearing this fucking walking advertisement for carpet cleaning services, just leaving behind a trail of destruction wherever you go, and it's all for, like, in your own head, you know? It's like how some people wear a lucky sock or something. It's like you're wearing those shoes.
Yeah, I was gonna like not pack any other shoes and just go to Magfest with only those until I realized that they were shedding so fast that by the time the screening event of like E3 was set to happen, I might not have any glitter left on the shoes.
You might just be wearing normal shoes.
Yeah, and we can't have that.
No, God, no. Fuck that. That's awesome.
So that's what I've been up to. I've been trying to get that video all together. With any luck, it'll be out before the end of the month, which, if you're listening to this,
we've got to stop saying shit like that. We have to stop saying shit
listener,
like that.
if this by the time this episode goes out, the Magfest video should also be out. So go watch it. And if it's not out,
that's just a landmine now that you've just planted for yourself. I believe it. I believe in you. Can I ask, where are those shoes now? What happened to them?
I actually don't know. Legitimately, I don't know where they are.
That's actually impressive because they sound like not hard to find.
I mean, they went back in quarantine as soon as they were home because I don't want to be losing more glitter everywhere. So
right, that's precious.
Wherever they are, you're not going to see them.
They're contained.
I really don't know. Isn't it like bad for you or something if you wear shoes that are like that have been worn in by someone with different feet than you? Because like differences in posture or whatever. I heard that somewhere, so it's probably true.
For a second, I thought that was a superstition thing, and I was just trying to imagine the case where you'd wear shoes from someone with the same feet as you. I feel like that would be worse. Just food for thought.
That's really good, dude. So what have you been up to? You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Patreon.
Remember how we thanked you guys for funding this godforsaken production? I'm very, very happy to hear all of this. I am busy as all hell.
What else is new?
And it's been a challenge because a lot of the stuff... Yeah, it's definitely been a little bit of a challenge because a lot of the stuff that I'm working on has been basically like immediately after the podcast episode a while back where I said that I didn't want to like go around pitching games or whatever. I started pitching games and whatever, which has been really challenging because that is exactly the kind of work that you can't super talk about on a podcast while it's happening. You're basically just collecting stories that will be spoken about at a later date. But I am in it right now.
The listener should probably be told why exactly you can't be super candid about that stuff, because that's not a given.
I mean, the part of the reason that it's challenging is because being on a podcast and talking about a project is kind of a form of marketing it. Doing a pitch is also marketing your project to publishers, and man, this is actually kind of messy.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah. The fact that he's already choking, listener, should give you an idea of how challenging recording this podcast has been sometimes.
Especially because, like, on this podcast, this whole thing is about, if I'm going to talk about something, I want it to be a super candid discussion of the creative process and all of the shit around it. I don't want to be playing my cards close to my chest like we're conducting a media interview or whatever. I want to just be talking about all the ugly details of something.
If this was the position that he was in whenever we started the podcast, we would not have started the podcast, because this is not a good position to be in when you want to talk candidly about the industry you're a part of.
And thankfully, there is like a light at the end of the tunnel, whatever way this breaks.
Yeah, one way or another, y'all are going to hear about this shit eventually.
And I am so excited for that date. But yeah, as of right now, the amount I can talk about specifics is contained, except for one thing that is related to all the shit that we just said that is kind of interesting, which is that, very strangely, the fact that I am on this podcast is not exclusively a negative. In fact, it's actually like a pretty good thing, and it's become part of the pitch, because with the way that the industry currently is, when you are pitching a game, you're not just trying to tell a publisher, hey, this is a game that's a really good idea, I think you could sell this. And, we are capable of making it. The bar is way higher than that now. You have to be convincing the publisher, effectively, this game is as good as already in production. And not only that, but it's not just, oh, you as a publisher can sell this game, it seems like a really good idea. It's, this game basically already has an audience.
Yeah, this is a story that I've heard many times, and it feels like it's getting more common, is that a lot of very successful pitch stories are ones that come from developers who showed a publisher something that already looked like really far in,
Yeah.
And because Enter the Gungeon, I think, is a recent example. If I'm not, I could be talking out of my ass. I just remember this from somewhere, which means it's true. It's where they had like an alpha build that already had a ton of the art that was either finished or very close to finished. A lot of the game feel had already been nailed. It was just like the absolute core of the experience that would become that game was already basically there and ready for you to experience. So you didn't have to do a ton of imagining what it would be like if it got funded, because the entire pitch was centered around letting you experience that.
And
also, must be said, that's hard to do.
It's fucking tough. Like, part of the specifics of me as a person who is pitching games is that I've talked about this on the podcast before, and it's this trajectory that we've been on for a long time, where creativity generally has been turning into a sport. It's not just, people don't just go and buy product or watch a video TM, right? Like, they get invested in the people making it. They want to see a thing be made a certain way. It's called influencer marketing now, or whatever. Every game studio is now putting they're putting out devlogs and behind the scenes stuff all the time, because that's what the people want to see. But, I'm in the position where I'm on this podcast where we do almost nothing but like tell this kind of story. We talk about creativity, we talk about making stuff. And so I get to go to publishers and be like, hey, this game, it may not have an audience already because it doesn't already exist, but I am a person who can tell this kind of story. I can take this part off of your hands. It's another version of like, the best way to get something is to not need it. That's kind of the guiding principle behind everything that goes into making a pitch like this. And yeah, now this podcast and you listening to this are a part of my pitch now. Get in the fucking slide deck.
Yes.
It's weird. It's a weird spot to be in.
Fucked up time whenever you're putting a YouTuber's name inside your pitch deck and it actually does kind of mean something.
And that's not even like, oh my God, look, I'm like connected to YouTuber space. It's like, I helped write and edit the Bass Reeves video, where like that was like an hour-long documentary about the development of a game, and it went over very well with the people who watched it. That is like proof that the games industry is taking, where it is becoming more like, oh, everything is becoming performance art. I am able to tell publishers like, oh yes, I am well positioned to do this in a way that a lot of other developers aren't, and also do it in a way that it's not going to affect the ability to ship the game, because holy fuck, there's a lot of anyone who has ever tried making a devlog has felt that black hole that is pulling them into just making devlog content instead of making an actual game is really hard to balance it. There have been, I think it's been long enough.
You've talked about this before, right? Your pet peeve that most of the popular like video game development creators out there right now aren't really making a game that is going to come out because that's antithetical to the business model.
It's like, and it's not a pet peeve about those people. It's just like, this is a fundamental business structure problem, which is it's been long enough that I think a lot of audience members have started to pick up on this and started witnessing, this game that I've been following its development for a really long time seems to just not be coming out. And at some point the person burns out on making devlog content, because it turns out a lot of the work that goes into making a game isn't necessarily fun to watch or witness happen. It doesn't make for a good 10-minute story. But if you want to maintain relevance, you got to be pumping out those 10-minute stories. And so what will happen is the developer of a game will like start fixating on small details or things that they can polish up, like not deep architectural work that needs to happen that's all code based, but like, here's a thing that will result in a visual thing that I can show off, and I'll just kind of keep chasing that until you have a lot of very visible little trinkets and not much entire game. It is fun. I don't know how followable that was, but if it wasn't followable,
go learn.
That is like go
learn.
No.
it's I've definitely noticed that a lot too. I mean, hell, that isn't a video game specific thing. I ran into that kind of problem whenever I tried streaming a few years back, and I quickly realized that that's a full-time job if you want to be any good at it. And I don't like doing things that I'm not good at, especially whenever I'm asking people to give their time and energy and attention to me. And so I quit streaming because it made me really anxious, and because I knew I wasn't very good at it, and I knew that the only way to get good at it would be to stop making YouTube videos. So yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, I thought that way that you put it, I think is true. It is a second full-time job. Like making good videos and making a good game and also streaming are all fucking difficult.
Yeah, you need a team in order to properly accomplish that. That's why whenever you see big productions trying to play this game, it's almost never one guy doing all the work.
Yeah.
And even whenever it feels like it is, that's either because they're a workaholic or they're addicted to cocaine. That's not a joke. Or because their team is very good at working in the background so you don't notice.
Yeah.
That is especially true with very savvy and well-funded productions.
Yeah, like this is the other difficult thing, is that a lot of studios are and have been poorly positioned to do the kind of, my most heavy and cynical air quotes I'm making right now, influencer marketing, because they feel like brands and not people. And this is also what fucks people who are independent and are making a game and a devlog or whatever, is that it all has to come from the same voice very identifiably. And that is really, really difficult to keep feeling true when you have a lot of different hands that are touching the different, pieces of content / art that you're putting out.
You need to have a person who's dedicated as being like the voice of the thing, or at least that's the most common solution. And you see this in all scales, from like the dinkiest of indie productions to the biggest AAA games in the world. Todd Howard is the voice of Bethesda. Fucking, what's the Remedy guy's name? I always forget.
Sam Lake.
Sam Lake is the voice of Remedy, despite neither of those people being like necessarily the be-all end-all of the big decisions, both creatively or in terms of business, that is happening at those given studios. Not always. They're obviously big parts of it, but they aren't like they aren't necessarily the end of the chain of command. They're the guys who are the best at communicating, and like being able to put a singular voice and face to a brand is just a very effective way of communicating in current year.
And like it helps if those can be the same people. Like in Sam Lake's case, like he is a creative director at Remedy, but sometimes this is like a community manager's job if the people who are working on the game aren't necessarily great spokespeople.
Right.
It's just a different skill set. So basically just be good at everything.
Outside of that too, like you see a lot of people I have noticed, especially from like the older era of marketing before this was quite as prevalent. I've seen them take a back seat and like step away from the limelight as being the voice of a company has become more and more important. I think about how companies like Bungie used to be all about the individual creative leads, just like department heads always talking very directly about the shit they do, compared to the way that company operates now, which, I mean, false equivalency, it's not the same company anymore. No, most of the people who were there don't work there anymore. But even so, it's entirely different. They are extremely corporate in the way that they are constructed nowadays. It is all community managers running most of that communication, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But I gotta think that if you've been playing this game for as long as a lot of the people who were in those old Vidocs, for instance, have been, and to see that being the voice of a production has only gotten more important and demanding as time has gone on, man, I don't know how people do it for as long as they have. It's hard. It sucks.
I think the Halo Vidoc, I always called them Vidocs because it seems like video docs, but
I don't know.
This is a GIF versus GIF shit, and I think we should spend a lot of time digging into it. But yeah, I went back and I watched a lot of those videos as research for, hey, I'm pitching a game now and I want to dig back into the history of, we've talked about DVD extras before, of like, what has it meant to be telling a story about what it means to make a thing throughout the history of games and movie and all of that shit. And yeah, it is a little wild to think that if you were a Halo fan, that video was pretty much all that you got.
Yeah.
It was not a constant job. That was years of development being condensed into like an hour-long documentary by a hired studio, and that was it. That was the extent. And then obviously, when you do the marketing run,
and at the time those were like pretty exceptional. Most companies didn't even do that, but Halo was so unique in so many ways. And they had so many charismatic personalities running the show that they were in a unique position to lean into that. And people were extremely receptive to it because, Bungie was in so many ways back then way ahead of their time. Like if you get into Halo circles, anytime people start really talking about those games and the way that they were marketed, the way that they learned about how they were made, the Vidocs always come up. Because people still remember them so vividly, because that was so not how things were done back then.
Yeah.
It's really fucking weird because you watch them now and they don't feel that out of place, but that's because they laid the groundwork for that type of communication in a lot of ways.
I mean, this is like part of PlayStation's strategy for their first party titles. This is like how they're building up the mythology around Santa Monica Studios and Naughty Dog. They are doing this.
How we raised Kratos
from little baby to big man.
Yeah.
Good title. But yeah, it's like now that is not an exception. It's table stakes. That's something everybody has to do, and they have to do it constantly because...
Yeah, well, you either have to do it or you need to convince a publisher to do it for you.
Right, which is part of, a lot of publishers cannot do that very well because by their nature, they are publishers. They are corporate. They're like viewed in the narrative of the game industry that a lot of players hold, the more corporate end of the deal between... developers and publishers. And there's very few, I think Devolver counts as one that's broken out of that. New Blood, definitely one that's broken out of that. But in general, like if you look at the whole middle tier of indie publishers whose names you don't even know, they're just not able to provide that kind of work, which is also part of why streamer publishers like the Off-Brand thing and most recently and Big Mode and even other YouTubers that are just throwing their hat in the ring of like, I want to work with the developer and make a game. Like part of the value that YouTuber is bringing to the table is genuinely just like they are offering, we will be the face.
They're the mouthpiece.
Well, yeah. And like if you as a game developer are not willing or able or practiced enough to do this kind of, marketing TM and talk to the players in that way, I will give you that credibility by virtue of being the one attached to it, because they already, your players, audience, TM, whatever, may already have a relationship, quote unquote, with me. So I can put my stamp on this thing, and that will be good and actually valuable as a thing for a YouTuber to be doing in that room. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's fucked up. It's fucked up. We started with Subnautica just having a little Markiplier reference, and now here we are.
It's weird. It's a weird landscape out there, but telling stories about creativity is cool and awesome.
You want to do Patreon questions?
Yeah, let's fucking jump in.
I don't know. What have we not?
I think
were we not done? Were we not done there?
No, I think we rang that one fucking dry. Okay,
let's get out of the topic while the getting is good.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. So the Patreon question.
I'll leave you with something to fucking think about, listener. you want more? You want more insight? How about you think about it?
Yeah.
Pause the podcast. Park your car. Just fucking sit in silence.
Once you
for 10
scroll
minutes.
back a few episodes,
Write
I want
in
you
the
to pull
comments.
up your
Write in
turn.
the comments exactly what your thoughts are on the matter, and then subscribe to our Patreon.
XX Jordan 9001XX asks,
Do you all have any projects you wish you would have canceled earlier or started later?
The Halo video.
It's a damn. Okay. And I'm assuming that is a canceled earlier and not a started later.
Yeah. Not a whole lot new to say on that
could.
front, but
is there? Okay, can I ask, like,
Stockholm's a motherfucker.
What do you think you would have gotten out of calling that off earlier?
Time to put into other things, time and energy to invest in other things.
Do you not think that like what you got out of the process of doing that research has been helpful and useful in a way?
Honestly, I think the biggest thing is it's not even necessarily the time. It's largely just I wasn't ready to call it quits on that thing for the longest time. And that sucked a whole lot because the energy required to mentally not lay it to rest was very taxing.
Right.
I felt like I had to stay informed and be in the know about all the latest discourse surrounding this thing and all the latest developments. It was very taxing. And I ended up not doing anything with all that. So I just wasted a lot of my fucking time, basically.
Yeah.
But like,
So
I realized I just contradicted myself. But what I mean is that I might not have wasted that much time measurably, but mentally I felt so exhausted, as if I had wasted a ton of time because I was spending a lot of my mental energy keeping up on something that was fucking exhausting.
Yeah. And to be clear, you're talking about a video. It's not just about Halo. It's about the development of Halo Infinite.
Yes.
And you did an incredible amount of research and reaching out to people to get information about why that went down the way it did. It was a hugely complicated thing. And what you're describing now is like, you're saying it wasn't the time you spent doing that bit. It was just the weight that you kept dragging long after that stopped being like a feasible thing for you to be working on.
I was planning years around the eventuality of making that video,
right?
Only to decide not to do it, and that sucked a lot. So I wish I had just cut my losses way sooner.
Right.
It would have been a gigantic mental load off my mind. But I needed that time to decide definitively that it just wasn't worth it anymore. I think time is the biggest contender, the biggest reason that I decided not to. So I don't know. It just sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know what I learned from it being as difficult as it was and for hanging on as long as I did. I just know that I don't think fondly about it. Sorry, that might have been a bit of a bummer answer.
No, that's a good fucking answer. This is a thing that a lot of people deal with. I mean, this is the fucking ending of the Bass Reeves video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
And it's making me feel like kind of a little jackass for not having an answer right now for
what do you mean?
I mean, I don't have like a
This is another classic case of not being able to talk about certain things on the podcast. Yeah, I also realize there's a version of this I can comfortably allude to without doing anything that compromises the privacy of your pitch specifically. There is something cosmically painful about you trying to pitch a game with things being as unstable in the entire world as they are right now. And a lot of my... I kind of thought that your answer would largely revolve around, man, I wish I had started pitching before the fucking economy was inverted. That would have been nice.
That would have been nice. That's actually, wow, that's also a good answer. That is true, although I've been taking that as just kind of a parameter of the problem of pitching games, because this is a thing that everyone's dealing with right now. And so, like, whatever I am pitching has to take into account the fact that things are fundamentally unstable, and what I'm pitching as a production process, not just a game, has to fit in with that. That is all 100% true. And it definitely would have been easier if I had handled this sooner. The thing I was going to say was, last year, there was a project that I was pitching. And while I can't say what exactly that project was, what I can say is the process of pitching it dragged on for a while. And I actually cannot say that I wish that had been canceled more definitively sooner, because the process of going through a protracted period of pitching and all of the different, not just assembling a pitch from scratch for people and trying to see their feedback on it, but then trying to navigate the business end of that, however painful, was incredibly valuable. And I don't think that I would be able to approach the current set of pitches with as much confidence if I didn't go through that last year. If you think you know which one I'm talking about, fuck you. No, you don't. I'm saying that as a blanket statement, whether it's true or not. But I'm grateful that, like, there isn't a project, for example, in the Don't Enter the Game Industry episode, that, like, with Dan, where I have not had a project that took years away from my life yet. All of those events have been, non-project related.
Hey, never say never.
We'll come back to this question in 1 year.
Yeah. So if anyone's looking to accept his pitch, bear this in mind. You can be the change if you want. It would make for some really good content on the podcast. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Accept this pitch if you want to make a great game, or give me a funny podcast answer. Ruin my life, please. Gungan asks, can you recommend me an indie game to play?
What's the one I recommended to you yesterday? Yeah.
All right, I need to pull up the full title. Because I want to say I have not played this yet, but I am absolutely going to.
I've barely played it, but oh my God, I'm going to play a lot more of it.
All caps. Brazilian Drug Dealer 3, I opened a portal to hell in the favela trying to revive Mitaya. I need to close it.
So
and the first line of the Steam page that pops up when you try to send someone this link is incredible things coming out of Latin America right now, unquote, from Hakita, creator of Ultra Kill.
It's it looks I'm pretty sure it's a Quake mod. It's built off idtech too.
Cool.
Listener, do you know the whole, like, how Brazil will like master EDM songs sometimes? Like, they're like innovating in the loudness war space. Like, they're finding new ways to be loud.
The country of Brazil.
That's what this game looks like to play. It's like that. I'm gonna repeat the name for you one more time. I really think you should. I genuinely am kind of.
You just want to say it because it sounds fun to say.
Yeah, and no, it's because I want people to look at this thing. It looks fucking awesome. Go try it. It's Brazilian Drug Dealer 3. I opened a portal to hell in the favela trying to revive Mitaya, and I need to close it.
It's really good.
It looks
it looks really good.
I really like it. The soundtrack genuinely is so good. Okay, what's yours?
I am also actually going to recommend, like, an early id Tech game that came out after those engines were relevant, which is, I don't know if I recently played a game from, I think it was either 2008 or it was 2012, called 30 Flights of Loving. It's one of the Blendo games, which is
you are speaking in Mandarin. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
It's a game called 30 Flights of Loving, and it's one of this series of indie games called Citizen Able, and it's by this guy/team that are incredibly invested in making games with very old technology. 30 Flights of Loving specifically is a really weird 15-minute narrative experiment that is one of the only games that I've ever seen be edited like a movie without taking control away from the player. There are jump cuts in this game, and it is really, really sick. It has a whole lot of jank because I think it was made in the Quake 2 engine, But it is super, and it comes with Gravity Phone and a whole bunch of behind the scenes stuff. It is a really fun little package if you want to get something that is strange and old feeling, but also still very new feeling. I think currently the team is working on a full length game entirely in the Doom 3 engine called Skin Deep. I think it might be like an sim, like an immersive sim.
This
it
fucking
looks
thing.
fucking wild. Yeah.
Insane. I can't believe that insane.
Yeah, it's a really, really neat developer. It's a very strange experience, and you might not click with it, but if you like the trailer, you might get something out of it. It's like a few bucks. Maybe get it on sale if you're feeling unsure.
Okay, bye.
All right. Thank you for listening to podcasts. I would like to shout out our $14 Patreon members who make this program possible.
Why?
Because we said that we would contractually.
Yeah. Okay.
That's how they get you. So thank you to
fucking $14 scammers.
Thank you to EXE Bill, Chulub the Big Money Wizard, Samuel Danver Plotz, Leon Kaiva, Hollybooks. I'm so sorry if I fucked up your name. Wormy.
Listen to him squirm. He's never done this before. He's new to the game.
I've never gotten money from a Patreon. TJ, Lucky the Proto, Combustiblemon, Denji, Witty the Entertainer,
Ever Dreams,
Nessie, Hoofed Ear,
Drew McIntosh, Commander Cyrus, Dax Sturry,
Cosmo. Cosmo was the last one. If you would like to add your name to the list, you can go to finalv3.zip. Unless the website doesn't work, in which case I'm going to cry.
You should tell us if the website doesn't work. We've been dealing with that for a bit.
Finalv3.zip. Please tell us if it works.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.